I am so excited, man, as we close out Women's History Month. Man, we are so honored this morning to have our next guest on and sitting in with us this morning. Y'all, please give it up for radio, television personality, and the founder, chairwoman of Urban One, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cathy Hughes. Miss H.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Who all's there with you this morning? I got a
everybody's here. Gary with the T, DeBrat, Maria Moore, Special K, Beyonce, Melody, the producers.
Got the whole crew out for me. The whole crew.
The whole
crew. I
love
it. I got to start, though, Rickey, I got to get back to you. I got to tell DeBrat how proud I am of her. All right, I'm a big fan. She's doing the best example of love that I've ever witnessed.
Thank you,
girl.
You
just making my heart sore. And I know I'll have to fight Missy Elliott and Lil' Kim and about 50 other sisters, but I want to be the godmother. Okay. I'm applying for the job now. You tell everybody else to stand down.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
All right. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you and Judy. I'm telling you, it just brings me a big smile every time I see a new post.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Thank you.
Best example of love I've ever seen. Now, Mr. Smiley, back to you. I apologize, but I had to get back there and make certain she was there, and I had a bad connection. I couldn't tell if I was hearing her or not. Hello, everybody else.
Hey,
Gary,
Cathy.
I know you got the key.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hey, Miss H, can you talk about your humble beginnings and your time at KOWH in Omaha, Nebraska, which led to Howard University?
Well, Omaha, we grew up on what was then called country and western. Okay, and we never thought having a black radio station in Omaha, Nebraska was even a possibility. And so I kind of say I started at the top because my first job in radio was as an owner. I was an investor in the first black-owned radio station in Omaha, Nebraska. And everything kind of, grew from there. But I said, it's a good starting point when you start off being an owner. But the thing was, we just knew how to buy the station. We had to all learn how to run it. And we didn't, after we paid the money to buy it, we didn't have any money for staff. So we all became the volunteer staff. So that's really how I learned radio. It's from the top down.
Wow. Well, Ms. Hughes, as we've talked about Women's History Month and all the great women who are breaking barriers, how do you feel when you just step back and look in the mirror and look at the media conglomerate that you've built from the ground up here at Urban One?
I feel humbled. I feel like I'm still a work in progress. I feel that while there are a lot of women who've had some incredible opportunities, I don't think I've opened the door wide enough for women owners of facilities. We've got, women owners. No, we've got women owners of, production companies. We've got women owners of their own entities. But in terms of, part of what fascinates me so much about Judy's story is that this sister is an owner. She's in charge of what hair care products come out. She's in charge of the color of the packaging. She's in charge of the color of the individuals promoting her products. Ownership is really the key, no matter what industry you're in. And if you notice, when Viacom decided that they weren't getting any of the Black Lives Matter dollars. So they decided that they were going to sell 51% of the company of BET to a black owner. Okay, a black owner, because they wanted to cut into the little bit of money that us black owners are finally getting. Yes. But just look at the list of people. Did you see any women on that list? Tyler
No,
Perry,
ma'am, I did not.
Robert Smith. Okay, all right. All these brothers lining up to help Viacom take money, away from black-owned media because they were making enough with BET because BET is very expensive. Those shows that have improved considerably over the last several decades, from the music videos that were just basically video strip shows, to be very honest about it. Okay, the first time, sisters start twerking, it was on BET.
Oh, Lord, Miss H.
Well, what's next for you, Miss H? What's next for you?
I would like to, I would pray that God would help me open the door wider for more women owners, particularly my sisters, women of, African descent. I'd like to see some sisters owning some networks. I'd like to see some sisters, really opening doors. It's one thing to be an employer. It's another thing to be the owner, because not only are you the employer, but you're also the decision maker. So what is to try to open this door wider in terms of ownership. A lot of people did not realize that Oprah had a branding deal with Discovery, very much like what Magic Johnson has. And now that you see that she's working basically for CBS, you realize that even Oprah didn't own.
Right.
Okay, he had a significant stake in it. But when, I get offers oftentimes to do this or that for another network. I can't, because I own Urban One. I can't go to another network and be a competitor to that which I have investors, vested in and particularly being the chair of a public corporation. But once you start seeing Oprah do stuff on CBS and other networks, you realize that, hey, what's going on with OWN? How can she be in direct competition with herself? Because it wasn't herself. OWN is owned and was by Discovery. So my future, I pray, is to empower more women to become entrepreneurs and to own their own operations, particularly in the communications industry.
And we believe you, because every time we get paid every 2 weeks, we look down in that corner and we see your name signed right there on that paycheck, Miss H, and we thank you. And we thank God for you.
Big difference. Big difference between, I often say, people are like, well, do you see, a difference between yourself and Oprah? Because Oprah is somebody I look up to. What she has done with her resources to help people of color is just outstanding. Nobody matches Oprah's record. But I say the main difference between me and Oprah, besides a few $1 billion difference, is that I've always worked for Cathy Hughes. That's the only person I've ever worked for my entire life. And it makes a difference in how you see things and how you operate when you have been self-employed your entire adult life. I haven't worked for anyone since I was 14 years old. I went into business for the first time when I was still a teenager, lied about my age, got myself a little loan, set up my little business.
Well, all right, y'all. So now we're talking to the founder and chairwoman of Urban One, the first lady of radio, Miss Cathy Hughes. Now, Miss Cathy, you're such a staunch supporter of the Piney Woods School in Piney Woods, Mississippi. So can you talk to us about the school and why it is so important to you?
It's so important to me because my grandfather, my mother's father, started it in 1909, and it's still in operation. We still have a vibrant student body. At one time during my grandfather's day, it was K through junior college. 2 presidents, my granddaddy, quite frankly, stayed too long at the party. He stayed there till he was almost 100 years old. So the people who came after him to run the school had different ideas, and one of those ideas was to shrink it. We're now trying to expand it again. Our president was a student at Piney Woods all the way through Harvard, classmate of Barack Obama, presidential appointee, and we were able to convince him to tell President Obama that he was going to have to resign his commission and go back to Mississippi and save this school and build it back. I want it once again to be K through junior college. But we have been in the business of education for a very long time. our kids we have 100% college placement. All of our students go to college. And we send them to some of the best HBCUs in the nation, some of the best Ivy League schools in the nation, as we did with President Will Crossley. We have 150 kids, none of whom, not one of them, pays school tuition. We have a few that pay a little portion of it. But basically, we educate these children. I just wish that I were able to do what Oprah has done. Oprah has educated so many young people. But, if she's doing it, if I'm doing it, Robert Smith is doing it, then we will see a different day in our community when we take our resources that God blesses us with and reinvest them in particularly our future generations.
All right, Ms. H. Thank you so much for jumping on with us this morning. Ms. H., let everybody know how they can follow you and how they can also help with Piney Woods Piney Woods School.
Online is PineyWoods School, Piney Woods School. Please go online. You can make a contribution. I am Cathy Hughes is how you can follow me on social media. My staff came up with that name. They started off with Urban Media Maven. Me, though, led the questioning, what is a maven? Okay, I was like, who in the world is that? So they changed it, my ID to I am Cathy Hughes. But it's more important to our future and to me personally if you would follow Piney Woods School and be of assistance, even if you don't send them but $1. Okay, send them $5. Send them a contribution, please, because we have these students who are all bright. Okay, they are chosen based on their ability and history of learning, but they have special circumstances either, and all of them do not come from impoverished backgrounds. Some of them are the children of people who engage in illegal activities, and they had plenty of money. They arrived with $15,000 diamond studs in their ears, and we had to explain to them no jewelry. Okay, everybody wears a uniform. And what we're going to do is cultivate your mind. And any help that any of the Rickey Smiley family members can participate in helping us, we appreciate that very much. But, Rickey, before I leave, my number one question to you always is, where is my meal that you've been promising me now? Your first day. Listen, don't tell me that BS about, yes, I told you I wanted to put my feet under your table, but I also learned that you've been mailing food to your staff. Okay?
Who? What? Miss H. Miss H, don't do me like that. Miss H,
if you can figure out how to FedEx their food, you can't figure out how to FedEx mine.
Get him, Miss H.
Okay. Brad, don't do that.
Miss H. I'm eating. Miss H, he made some dressing, Miss H.
See, don't do that.
Right now.
He sent it to me yesterday, Miss H.
Brad, I bet I won't send you nothing else. Miss H, Miss H, y'all give it up. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Brad being messy, I'll deal with her later. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for the one and only, the founder, the owner of Urban One, the one and only Miss Cathy Hughes. Front page coming up next.